welcome to our International Species Chat. We're so glad that you're here joining us today. We're super excited to be celebrating International Heritage Breeds Week, and we thought what better way to celebrate than to invite our friends from the Rare Breeds Trust of Australia. So thank you so much for joining us, Judy, all the way from Australia at 4 a.m. That's amazing.
Thank you for inviting me.
That's awesome. I'm Brittany Sweetie. I'm the Communications Manager with the Livestock Conservancy. Charlene, do you want to introduce yourself? And then Judy, do you want to introduce yourself and say hello to everyone?
All right. Yeah. Hey, I'm Charlene Couch. I am a Senior Program Manager here at the Livestock Conservancy. Judy, we are super excited to talk to our counterparts at the other side of the earth. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you very much, Charlene. Yeah, so I'm Judy Barnet. I'm a Director and the Treasurer for the Rare Breeds Trust of Australia. I have held that position for about 5 or 6 years, I guess. So, yeah, no, it's lovely to meet you.
Thank you. I hope this will be the start of lots more conversations between all of our international partners.
Well, Judy, do you want to tell us a little bit about Rare Breeds Trust Australia, and what y'all do and how you kind of got started there?
Yes, so I believe that the Rare Breeds Trust started at the very beginning of about 1990. There was a very small group, the Minority Trust of Australia, and there was already a Rare Breeds Trust in the state of Victoria. So Australia is quite big, and these two groups decided to merge together start looking out for the rare breeds of domestic livestock that were sort of starting to, I guess, become extinct. By that stage, there were already quite a few extinct breeds of domestic livestock in Australia. So that was the beginnings of the trust. And as I said, I came on board only about 5 years ago, but our president, Anne Sim, has been with the trust since the start. And then another director, Katie Brown, she came in not long after. And so that's us.
All right. Well, what are some of the biggest challenges that you all face there in Australia with rare breeds conservation?
So I guess small gene pools are an issue because some livestock we can import from some countries, semen, embryos, that sort of thing. But definitely a small gene pool, especially amongst the pigs. We'll never be able to import pig semen in my lifetime. Certainly, there's a total ban on that. And another problem is the economic viability. So obviously most heritage or rare breeds take quite a long time to grow compared to the hybrids and more commercial breeds. So economic viability, access to abattoirs. A lot of abattoirs have closed down in regional Australia in the last few years. I guess they probably would be the biggest challenges, and the biggest one of all would be lack of volunteers to do this work.
About how many people are engaged in conservation, farmers and I guess donors and volunteers?
So in the Rare Breeds Trust itself, we have 6 directors. We also have a species coordinator group, and that has got another 3 volunteers. So that brings us of a total committee up to 9. Nearly all of our income is derived from our membership, for which we have actually 99 members. So that's not a lot to keep us going. Breeders depends on the species. Horses are quite well supported here in Australia. So are poultry, but pigs probably would be right down the bottom of the list. All of our breeds of purebred breeds of pig are in danger in Australia. Goats not so much. Yeah, goats are going quite strong. Some breeds of sheep, definitely have big problems with lack of support from breeders. And cattle are much the same. Cattle tend to go in and out of fashion a bit.
Sure. Yeah. You guys are doing a lot from what I can see from your website. It looks like you're having an auction for a gene bank. Can you tell us more about that program?
I can, because I actually instigated that program, and I am looking after it. So, yes, so we decided at the trust that a semen bank was of utmost importance going forward into the future. So they obviously cost quite a lot of money to run. So we are doing a bit of fundraising. We already have some breeds of semen that have been donated. Our rare breeds cattle coordinator Andrew Kennett and another director Jan Cleanhands have helped out with gathering some semen, but I decided to try and start an auction. So we used a platform, Auctions Plus, which is a cattle and sheep and goat, actually, livestock selling platform in Australia, probably the largest one of its kind. And set about gathering donations to for items that we could auction off. So we have I think 29 items in our auction. We run that during International Heritage Breeds Week. I donate a stay from my holiday cottage here at Glenlyon on my farm. Which is great. And then we have many and varied items, including a set of miniature handmade wooden cattle yards. And I guess a really great donation we got was from Heritage Livestock Canada. So last year was our first year of the auction, and they donated a magnificent painting of a Dorset Horn ram. This year they've come on board with a membership and some beautiful cards painted by John Mills. And then, if anybody wants to have a look, they certainly can go to auctionsplus.com.au and have a look at the items.
Yeah. How long have you been working on the gene bank for the organization?
I think before my time there was we did start up a small gene bank. There was just lack of interest. It cost a lot of money to maintain, and I believe in the end the semen was donated out to breeders of the breeds that were there. That was a long time before my time. Now we've sort of got a bit more behind us and a little bit more support. So it's only been going, I think last year was our first auction, and the sort of, it was just in its development stages then. So I would say probably about 15 months. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck to you. I know how expensive that really is and how difficult it is to coordinate the collections and the banking and identifying the right genetics for the gene bank.
Mm-hmm.
Stay strong.
Well, Judy, can you tell us about any of some of the breeds on your conservation list in Australia? Are there any that are only found in Australia that you're working to save?
Any that are only found in Australia. I'm just trying to think. Well, we're only a new country, so yes, most of our breeds came from England and also from Africa. So I believe from England on the first fleet came out quite a lot of cattle, sheep, and goats. But however, most of them perished before they reached the Cape of Africa. Due to lack of nutrition and that sort of thing. And then, so they loaded up with South African cattle, including, what did they load up? The Afrikaner cattle, the African fat tail sheep. They were the main probably breeds. And the Afrikaner cattle now have all but gone in Australia. I think there was a little bit of semen that was sold off by our CSIRO, which is the Commonwealth Research Station, and it went to private people. But Australian only breeds, yes, we have the Elliotdale in sheep. That's a carpet wool sheep, actually. And due to all carpet wool being manufactured overseas now, that Elliotdale would be one of our rarest breeds, along with the Drysdale, which was a breed from New Zealand. We had them over here as well, and I think they are extinct in New Zealand now, as far as I know. I could be wrong there. Yeah, we've got a couple of small flocks in Australia. Other than that, yes, you've caught me on the hop there. I can't think of any breeds.
Sorry about that.
No, they're mostly, like, we have developed composite breeds of cattle that have sort of got in and out of fashion. But yes, pigs, no, we don't have any of our own breeds, but they're all very much endangered. Goats, I think we've developed a few, but it's only recent. And horses, I don't think so either. I think they're all from overseas. And yeah, cattle, I guess we've got the Drought Master, but it's not endangered. And that's about all I can think of offhand.
Okay. Well, I know that we share a lot of species in common, and I guess a lot of that is because we, of the European colonization way back in the day.
Yes.
And so I have enjoyed, I think it's Katie I've talked to about horses as we go along, and it's really interesting. But here in America, I don't know how you are, but we get really focused on what we have, and it's hard to forget, or it's sort of hard to remember that we all need to be working together to conserve every one of these breeds. They're all important. They were all developed for a reason, and I think that's why this International Heritage Breeds Month is so exciting to me, because it brings us all under one umbrella and gives us a common purpose.
It does, absolutely, and I think it gives us more hope to go on, and and ideas that we can get from other people from other countries of how they go about saving their rare breeds. So yeah, definitely for me, especially with Canada, it's just been amazing to tap into their knowledge, and so friendly, and makes you want to go for a holiday, of course.
It's a good time of year for that.
Yeah. Yep.
Judy, could you talk for a minute about your program on Australian heritage species, which includes some feral populations?
Yes, so actually that was new to me. I didn't know anything about that, and I had to check with President, and that's okay. I checked with her last night. We don't have an actual program as such, but we just monitor those heritage breeds. So we have one of our species coordinators, Janet Lane. She's the coordinator for horses. She is a wealth of information, and she has followed up a lot of these breeds. So I guess we have the camels. There was actually a book written called, I think it was called The Camel Vet, and it was about how a sheikh from Saudi Arabia came over to Australia. He wanted, because they already raced camels over there, so he was looking for good camels. So basically he ran across this Australian vet, and this vet went to Saudi Arabia and became a leading world expert on camels, and he pioneered embryos and AI into camels, and so that's a bit of the camel story. Other species, donkeys, yes, they have gathered those up from way out west and way up north, where they had turned quite feral, and used them in a breeding program. Brumbies is very controversial in Australia, so there are people very passionate about saving the Brumbies, and there are equally as many people that believe that the brumbies should be eradicated, at least from our national parks, where they have said to have done quite a lot of damage. So there was some northwest feral fowl, I think, that had been around on an island for quite a long time, and they have started up a group to try and preserve them. The Rare Breeds just monitors the groups that are doing these things and gathers the information and that sort of thing. So we haven't heard from them for a little while. And then the other one that seems to have fallen off the track a bit is the Percy Island goats. There was a group also trying to save those, yeah. But we just work with other groups and that sort of thing. Yep.
Right. So you're sort of the center of all of these other groups that are working independently. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I was excited to read about the camel races. that must be something.
Oh, it must be. I've never been to one myself. I've been to pig racing and pig diving, but I haven't been to camel racing. Yeah, I'd love to go one day, go out west. Yeah, it would be something to see. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's really neat. Well, you've brought up pigs several times. You raise large blacks, is that right?
I did. I don't anymore. The drought actually saw me go out of pigs. I sold most of my pigs down to Victoria to a young farmer down there, which he sort of is really the future of large blacks now, one of the largest breeders. But yes, no, I do love the large blacks. So what I do now is just buy pigs off other stud breeders to support them. I rear them up. I use them for my voluntary events, and then they find their way into my freezer. So yeah, really the drought. I had them for like 20 years. The drought, I guess, and then also it was 4 hours to the abattoir, which was a long way to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, you guys. We're all worried about African swine fever. Has that had any impact on Australia yet?
So not as yet. Look, a lot of awareness has been raised, and certainly there's been commercials on television. And I know I participated in a discussion board at one stage with this, but so far we've been able to keep it at bay. The biggest danger would be our feral pig population, which is huge in Australia. They're the ones that if somebody brings it in from overseas or brings some meat in, it's contaminated, which has happened before. They've caught them at the border, then drops a bit of that meat and a feral pig picks it up. That is a big concern. But yeah, biosecurity is a big thing here in Australia. We have very strict rules here. We've got JEV, so the Japanese encephalitis virus has come to Australia, and it hasn't spread a lot yet. But it's definitely due to those strict biosecurity procedures.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're not seeing too much trouble with those.
I think actually I'm just reading a few notes here. Sorry. Yep. The customs imported over 43 tonnes of pork products on air travellers entering Australia that were taken off them. So that's a lot of pork, isn't it?
Wow. It's a lot of pig jerky or sausage.
It is, and that's only what they got. Imagine what they didn't get.
Right. Oh my goodness, Brittany, I was gonna see. Do we have any questions yet for Judy?
Let's see what we've got. Let's see. Hi, Kevin. Thanks for joining us today. Kevin says a number of dedicated small breeders are continuing to try to establish the Akhal Teki horse in Australia. So it's like we've got some good breeders trying to help out a rare breed.
Yes, that's excellent. I'm just making a note of that, and I'll let Janet Lane, our horse coordinator, know too. Thank you, Kevin.
I think that's it. So if anybody else has comments or questions, go ahead and type them in. We'd love to read them out to everybody and see if Judy can answer any questions for you. Judy, what other kind of programs does the Rare Breeds Trust Australia do?
So we do sponsor quite a lot of agricultural shows in Australia. I personally do quite a lot of voluntary events at festivals and things like that in Queensland, and I take along some rare breed pigs, depending on, of course, biosecurity at the time, but sheep and goats and the occasional calf and that sort of thing. We do quite a lot there. We do an annual survey actually to monitor numbers of poultry breeds, and also our membership, as I say, is our greatest form of revenue. What else do we do? Sponsorship through shows, and just, I guess, basically spread the word, wherever we can.
That's fantastic. How were your shows affected by the pandemic for the last couple of years? Did you have some trouble getting out?
So our shows have only just started up again, really. They've been cancelled for a couple of years, and then some, like our local show at Stanthorpe, were due to go ahead earlier this year, and at the last minute got put back. So it has been held now. It definitely was very, very well supported, as have most shows been. I took along a display of just sheep, actually. So to the sheep pavilion, they were unable to hold stud sheep this year due to that postponement. They just didn't get enough people in. So I took 10 breeds. I think I ended up taking. This is the 2022 really is the first year that the shows are going ahead again. We just finished the Sydney Royal. It was really, really big. Actually, Kathy Newton, our poultry coordinator, she judged, I think, down there. She judges at quite a lot of shows. She's a poultry judge, but so.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. So do you get a lot of participation from the heritage breeders in the show as compared to the more commercial breeds?
No, not much. Poultry minority breeds, they're quite strong. As I mentioned, the Rare Breeds Trust sort of sponsors a little bit of that. We also sponsor a horse show, the Baroque and District, which is in Queensland, a rare breed horse show. But generally at agricultural shows, the rare breeds obviously are well into the minority. Probably a push by us is probably needed to try and get some of those associations to join up and work with the Rare Breeds Trust, because we really are here for them. So a lot of shows, wouldn't have any breeds. Pigs are something that's not really shown. I think we have a show at Toowoomba that's certainly the only show in Queensland, and I don't believe there are pigs as far as I know, except for the Sydney Royal, and perhaps some of the Royal shows. Not many small agricultural societies have pigs in these days.
Sure.
No, we are in the same boat, so to say, so to speak. There aren't, of course, a lot of heritage breeders, and when those breeds do appear in shows, competition is sort of geared for the the more commonly known breeds, it's a little hard for folks to compete unless judges know how to judge the animals based on their own standard of perfection or, their own qualities rather than against a big meaty sheep that might not be what's on a heritage breeder's farm.
Exactly the same situation here. It's very, very rare for those minority breeds to, other than win their own classes, to move up into that interbreed judging. Absolutely.
Yeah, we see that. We see that too, but it's still a wonderful opportunity to get the breeds out in front of folks. So people like to see the diversity.
Absolutely. Yes. And do you have carcass competitions as far as sheep and cattle go over there?
Would you say that again? Do we have
carcass competitions? So basically,
carcass?
the animal gets slaughtered and they hang it on the hooks. Yep.
I am sure we do, although I'm not familiar with that. Yeah. I guess you guys do that then.
We do, yes, yep, we do, and it's sometimes where the rare breeds can come to the fore a little bit if they hang up well on the hook, which a lot of these old breeds do. Then they can, sometimes come up in that judging more so than on the hook. More so than on the hook.
On the hook.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Right. If we could just get a tasting competition in there, I think they would show well.
That's it. That's what we need.
Yeah. All right. Let me look. I know that I have a few more questions for you, and maybe if you want to take it away after that and just tell us anything that you'd really like the American audience and the international audience to hear about. One of the breeds that I was told I had to ask you about is the Japanese ox. What on earth is that?
Oh, yes. So the Banteng cattle. Look, I think that originally comes from Indonesia, I think, and it. I have seen them actually. There was a gentleman in Queensland who was going to start up a zoo, and they are just a beautiful, docile, and lovely looking animal. And I actually had to do a bit of research on that one as well, only late last night. But apparently it has now running wild up in the top end of Australia, so in the Northern Territory there. And that would be the only purebred animals, unless there are any from collectors that we don't know about, which is quite possible, that we haven't been able to track down, because there's no breed society for those cattle, and it's probably the same with a few of the rare breeds. They don't actually have a breed society that we can, we just find out about them by accident. But yes, the Banteng cattle are really, really lovely. I'm not sure if any ever got imported to America. And despite the fact that they're feral and they're survivors and they're running wild out there, they're very, very easy to domesticate and tame down. I'd love to have one myself.
We're all collectors, aren't we?
That's it.
Now, Judy, you raise sheep on your farm?
I do. So originally I was really a dairy cow person, and then I decided I needed a bigger farm to keep more pigs and more animals. So I moved out into country that wasn't suitable for dairy cows. And I'd always had the South Downs sheep, not really known as rare in Australia at all. Although in Queensland, I think there's only about 3 or 4 breeders of the South Downs sheep. But I have the original I say original genetics. Obviously, they probably weren't original 100 years ago, because breeds have changed so much over the years. But the old teddy bear type, I think you call them baby dolls over here. So I kept those original genetics, which are actually quite rare, and they're my main breed. On top of that, I also have just really for display purposes, Dorset Horn, because they're always popular to take to the animal nurseries I do. I breed Shropshires now. They're a beautiful small breed that still have the original genetics into them. Dorset Down is a breed that's been modernised quite a lot. They're quite big now, but I keep a few Dorset Down. English Leicester, I actually got the last of the only ones in Queensland a couple of years ago. They're quite strong in Victoria and Tasmania, but over in Queensland I would have the only English Leicesters. They're a long wool breed, and they are really, really docile breed. Unfortunately, wool is not worth much in any of these. Australia calls them crossbreds, whether they're pedigree or not, because the only real breed to Australia is a merino, of course. But what else have I got? Dorset Horn, Shropshire, Dorset Down, English Leicester. Oh, I've got a border Leicester. They're not rare, but just to show people the difference between the English Leicester and the border Leicester. So you can hear they're mostly English breeds of sheep that I have. But I do have, my friend sold her farm and gave me a couple of fat tail Dammara sheep. So they are also well handled and very quiet, and they're very popular with their great big fat tail. Yeah.
I do like the border Leicesters with their ears that stick right out.
Absolutely, yeah. They look really regal, don't they?
Yes, I know they're not rare, but they're just so cute.
They are cute. Yeah. Is there any message you'd like to say to our listening audience that we haven't given you a chance to?
I think if people are out there and they are listening, just remember that it costs the same to keep a good sheep, cow, or pig. So the same to keep a rare breed as it does to keep any old crossbreed. And at the end of the day, by supporting a rare breed, you've got something you can really be proud of. You know the traits, you know the genetics, so you know what the finished product is going to be. So so if you're keeping pigs, cattle, horses, certainly, why not consider one of these rare breeds?
Absolutely.
Yeah. We're with you on that.
Absolutely. So if people are listening in, how can they get involved with the Rare Breeds Trust Australia?
Yes, so we do have our membership is $35 a year for individuals, $55 for families, and $20 for pensioners, $15 for juniors. So it's not expensive, and we do produce a beautiful newsletter that we can email to you. We can post internationally if you want a hard copy, but it's a little bit extra for the postage. If they want to go online to our auction, definitely. We have sent last year, actually, my partner's daughter's an artist, and she did some beautiful prints of, I think it was the White Park cattle, the Shropshire sheep. I think it might have been a Wessex saddleback pig from memory, and also one breed of poultry. Canada, actually, a lady in Canada bought those. So there are things at the auction that you could bid on if you like, and your membership would be greatly appreciated. And if you're ever coming for a holiday to Australia, get in touch with us, and I'm sure that we would love to meet you.
Absolutely. What a great trip.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. So you can find the Rare Breed Trust Australia at rarebreedstrust.com.au. So go to their website, check them out, become a member. I believe y'all are also on Facebook at Rare Breeds Trust. So follow them. And then what was the website for the auction? It was auction.
Yep, auctionsplus.com.au.
So I hope everyone will go and check out the auction and spend some money, buy some amazing things, and support the Rare Breeds Trust Australia. That's our shameless plug for today. So.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. Charlene, is there anything else you'd like to cover today?
I don't think so. I am mostly really interested in talking more about how we can work together. Projects that we might work on in concert on our opposite hemispheres, and that sort of thing. And I don't know if anybody wants to listen to that conversation, but I'm glad that this connection has been made, and that we are all beginning to talk a great deal to one another, and to work in concert to do what is important for every continent and every country, and that is save the diversity of these livestock breeds. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap things up because I know Judy's probably tired being up at 4 a.m. But thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you for reminding everyone that biodiversity is important everywhere, not just here, and it affects everybody. It's a global thing, and saving rare breeds is a global effort. And I'm so glad that we can work together. Thank you to everybody that tuned in today. Thank you to all of our supporters and listeners. We appreciate you. We couldn't bring you such fantastic guests and content without you. So thank you for all of your support. If you're not a member and you'd like to become a member, we invite you to go to our website at livestockconservancy.org and participate that way. Of course, after you go and become a member of Rare Breeds Trust Australia. You can use support everywhere because it's so important. But thank you to everyone. Thank you to ManaPro for sponsoring our species chats today. We appreciate you. I am going to say we'll be back next week with a Marketing Monday, so please tune in then. And I'm going to play our sponsorship video for ManaPro, and I hope everyone has a great week. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Champions, colleagues,
roommates,
and personal trainers.
Whatever role they play,
they're an important part of our lives.
In their quiet way,
and their not so quiet way.
they keep us young.
On our feet,
on the go.
They pull us back to nature.
And push us toward the next adventure.
And as much as we count on them,
they count on us all the more.
To nurture their lives.
With the same commitment.
To protecting them.
Helping them grow.
And thrive.
Treating them.
As well as they treat us. By giving them a little more of our lives. Because no matter what role they play, out here
or in here,
we're here to make their lives the best they can be.
ManaPro, nurturing life.